Hi, I'm Jon San Paolo. I'm here in Studio B at Electrical Audio, and today I'm going to show you how to do a multi-track tape edit. For this project, you will need one multi-track tape machine, a console, a band, audio tape, one white China marker, one sharp razor blade, and half-inch splicing tape. So in a recording session, if the band doesn't get it right in the first take, they have a couple of options. First, they can re-record the song, hoping to get a better take. They can, if there are a couple of flub notes here and there, they can try to repair and do punches to the take they just did. Or their third option, which we're going to do today, is to keep as much of the first take as possible and then re-record everything that needs to be replaced as a second take that we will then cut the middle out of and splice the good part of take one together to the good part of take two. So for today's demonstration, we've got takes of a song from a band called Lardo that came in here to record. And the idea here is that they made it almost all the way to the end of the second chorus. An errant bass note was struck, everybody caught it, and the take just sort of waned out from there. And the band decided they wanted to just try and re-record it from the second chorus out because the entire first 2/3 of the song were great and keepable. So I'll demonstrate what it sounds like. And so at that point, we stopped tape, figured everything out. And in terms of finding a place to count in, from an engineering standpoint, we just need a couple of measures ahead of time. That way, any cymbals that need to be ringing by the time the edit happens are ringing, and any reverb that should be built up in the room is already in place. Otherwise, it can sound stark and obvious, and the idea is we want a seamless, continuous edit. So they actually counted in halfway through the second chorus and played out. And it continues from there until the end of the song. So now that I have two usable halves of that take, I need to find an edit point, mark everything, cut, and splice it all together. When we were listening to it, every time I used the big airplane signal to mark the errant note from the bass guitar, there was also a bass drum strike that happens right there that I think would be a good edit point. Drums are usually very good edit points because the transient sound will mask any potential artifact of an edit. And it's an easy thing to track down when you're listening back. So I'm going to play this back and I'm going to mark the tape with my white China marker as I go. I should point out, pay attention to what head you're working off of. Because if you are working off the repro head and you mark your sync head, that's going to affect your edit, and vice versa. In this case, I'm working off the sync head, so I'm going to mark right here. So now I'll play it. I'll tap a couple of times so that I'm in tempo with the song. It'll help me visually. And then I will find the note in question that I want to use as the edit. And at that point, I'll zoom in and kind of zero in on right where that note is. I'll show you that in a sec. Oh. Cool. So that'll be the bass drum note. So my next step is to solo this up, to solo the bass drum track up, and really zero in on it so that I can mark it exactly where it struck. So now that I know where that note was hit, I can put the Studer in edit mode. And because it's soloed up, all I'm hearing is the bass drum. And there it is, as I suspected. So now I'm going to just try and find the exact spot where it struck, and I'm going to both listen to it, and I can also use the peak meters on this machine. It'll do peak or VU as a way of visualizing if I'm in the right spot. And once I find it, then I'll mark it. Some marks are thinner than others, but now I know where it is. And another thing that I would do if the hash mark didn't already show me where I was would be to just mark where the edit point is so that I know where the usable part of the song is and where the part that I'm going to get rid of is. So now I found the beginning of my edit. I'm going to unsolo those bass drum channels and listen for the end of my edit. Same thing. So now I'll solo the channel up, find it, mark it. I'm trying to get so you can see the mark. Just gotta check that. That's good. So that is dead center. And I should mark where. That way I'll know this is the part to be edited out. Now I cut and splice. If this was much more than a couple seconds, I would probably wind it onto what we call a gash reel, which is just a place for discarded edits. Today, I'm just going to let it fall on the floor. When you rejoin spliced tape, I try to avoid the slots, just because I feel like it joins a little easier. So I grab my splicing tape, give myself 2.5, 3 inches of tape. Start in the middle and then work my way to the edges. So I would grab either a Q-tip, or if you don't have one, just use a fingernail and just try and flatten it out and work out any air pockets or bubbles. Make it as flat as you can. That looks good. Then you have to trim off any excess splicing tape very carefully. Put it back on the reel, or on the machine. So we'll wind it back and check our work. And there you have it. multi-track splice so that we have an edit master that we can mix from.